Video and content. All right. We are live. We're going to wait just a couple more minutes, so get a couple more people arriving. Just hold on. All right. Sure this is going to work. Good. Almost 2 o'clock. We'll start our branding webinar. Few more minutes, actually just one more minute, and we'll get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with today's webinar. If you're watching on Facebook, you can always go to our website at mortgagemachinecoaching.com to view the full branding presentation. We have full slide on there as well. But those that are on the broadcast webinar, thanks for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started. First, we got a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to be doing I got Josh here, who's going to talk a little bit about what is Mortgage Machine, what do we do, what's our purpose, what's the why, what is Mortgage Machine?
Yeah, well, I've been in the industry for it's been close to 17 years now, and the first 6 to 7 years were built with a lot of not knowing what to do. I played college sports, and I had all this stuff with just competitiveness and drive, and I had an athletic mindset. And then when I got out of school, out of the sports world, out of the competitive environment that was sports, where I drove everything into, I kind of was like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And I had good people in my life, not great mentors in the mortgage space. So I kind of floundered for a while, trying to figure out what to do. And as my successes have grown over time, I've seen a huge gap in the mortgage industry. I think mindset is a big piece of the puzzle. I think system is a huge gap. I think the coaching piece is a huge gap. And to not get too deep into this, I would say that is the Mortgage Machine. What we're building, the passion is around finding people that have new levels, and build clarity and system, and just honestly changing their lives.
Yeah, that's really all it is.
Yep.
And for those who are watching, if you want to get tips, advice, all of our latest insights, news on our webinars, just go to mortgagemachinecoaching.com and you can subscribe for free. We push out weekly updates, news, videos from Josh, mindset videos, marketing, technology, sales videos every single week. That's just free content for you guys. So highly suggest you check it out. Again, that's mortgagemachinecoaching.com and just subscribe. So today we're going to talk about branding. Branding is such a huge part of our business as loan officers, but we don't think about it. It's one of those things that it's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
And a lot of it's just because of the unknown. Like, what is branding? When I think of branding, right, I think about big brands. I think about the Nikes, the McDonald's, the Quicken Loans, the Starbucks, the Zillows. Like those, that's what I think about big brands. When I think about the idea of branding, I think about big brands, right? But what about us? What about the individual loan officer? What does branding mean to me, you guys out there, like an individual loan officer, right? How do we separate ourselves from the crowd? Like the thing about the big brands is they can brand really well because they don't have as much competition, right? There's not a billion Nikes. There's not a billion Starbucks, right? There's only one Starbucks. There's like 5 major competitors that are that large in their field, so they can separate themselves out. They've got huge budgets. That's what they can do. But for loan officers, there's thousands of us. Thousands of us. There's a lot of competition in loan officer space, right? So, I mean, we're all like kind of in the same area. So how do we kind of separate ourselves outside from all other loan officers in the space, so when when referral partners and clients think of us, or think of a loan officer, or think of mortgage, they think of us, right? We think of, or we're their lighthouse, so to speak, right? So the good part is that, like I said earlier, that 98% of loan officers are not branding. They're not putting a push on branding, which gives you an advantage, right? So maybe there is a lot of us in there, but 98% of them are not focusing on branding.
You know, the thing about it too is with our day-to-day and our mortgage loan officer lives, it's hard to, unless you pull yourself out, you know, for those that are on this, that are watching this, I mean, honestly, kudos to you for taking time out of your day.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of the times we're so in the business that we don't work on the business. We don't work on the next level, the accents that can take us to another level, like a webinar like this or coaching. So I think this is huge. And I didn't start out like this, and I should have. Jason is someone that I met a long time ago, and I just wanted to tell the group out there how excited I am that they can also learn from you.
Yeah.
And this kind of stuff. So I think this is something that's going to be invaluable, things that I wish I would have had starting out.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, that's good. And again, guys, to learn more about Josh and I too, just go to the mortgagemachinecoaching.com. You can learn about our history and where we came from, and why we're actually doing this too, a little bit more in depth. But so here's the good news, is that there's a lot of us out there, but there's not that many that are actually focused on conscious branding, right? So when I talk about branding, or we talk about branding, what is it? What is a brand? Like, what does a brand look like? Do I have a brand? The answer is yes. You already have a brand. A brand is a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. So if the consumer doesn't pay a premium, make a selection, or spread the word, then no brand value exists. Now, I would say that again, no brand value exists. So you can have a brand, but if you don't have brand value, if you don't have a brand that are people talking about, that are being reminded about, then no brand value exists.
That was a moment for me where, I don't know if this registers with a lot of people. The people that I talk to, it does. But when you're thinking about your day-to-day, or your office, or when you go to area realtor events, or anything you go to, you kind of look across the room. Everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of talks the same.
Yeah.
You know, I remember sitting in area. That's where they told me to go. My mentorship told me to go to area realtor meetings, and I sat there, and they passed the mic around, and it's like a competition on. I'm at 4 1/8,
right.
And then I'm supposed to say I'm at 4 and I'm at 4.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
no, that way was like the most ridiculous thing in
right.
the world.
Right.
So I definitely see where you're coming from for this, because I think the turning point for me is when I started to be my own brand.
Right.
Me.
Yeah. And people were starting to think of you as Josh instead of Josh the loan officer.
Right.
Instead of John the loan officer, instead of Mike the loan officer.
You know what, too?
Susie the loan officer.
I think the thing about, the mortgage machine and the presentation today is too, I'd rather fail being me than fail being someone else's version of me.
Yeah.
So that was huge.
Yeah. So that's a really good point. So when we think of brand, know that you already have a brand, but let's talk about how we can build brand value, and that's how we're going to get into today a little bit. All right. So I got a really cool story, and this will give you an idea of brand value and how brand value works for the unconscious mind like myself. So, for instance, I take the example of Coke and Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I didn't have a brand value for Coke or Pepsi. I would go to either one, right? I just know I wanted cola, I wanted something sweet. Right. So, but over the years, I saw myself reaching more for Coke than Pepsi. And I'd go to the convenience store and I'd reach more for Coke, and I'd look at Pepsi and I wouldn't reach for Pepsi. I'd reach for more Coke. And unconsciously I was doing this, and I figured out why I was doing this. And I thought about this is, why would I always go to Coke, and why did I stop going to Pepsi? And that was because Coke didn't change. Coke always had the same logo, the same red colors. Their commercials always emotionally gravitate. They told really nice stories and comfort stories. So when I thought of Coke, I had warm, comfort, nostalgia feelings. Pepsi was still always, and still are, trying to find their identity. So Sorry, we're getting a call. Let me decline that. There we go. So Pepsi's always trying to still find an identity, and they're always different, right? So they're always changing the logo and the shape of the can and the mechanisms of their brand. But Coca-Cola, they brought stories and intimacy to life with their branding, right? Of who they were. They showcased, they dropped the curtains of who Coke was. So the nostalgia feeling they always had growing up, of the warm feelings of the emotional connection, the stories that they told. They even had commercials with puppies in them. I don't know if you remember the Super Bowl commercial with the puppy and the horse being best friends, but it brought back those memories. So I started always reaching for Coke. And that's what brand value, that's what a big brand can do about establishing really strong brand value.
That's great.
All right. So when we think about, so like I said, what is a brand? Oftentimes we think of branding are the things that are manifestations of a brand. Like a manifestation of a brand is your website or your logo or your colors or the images that you use, right? Or even your social media. Like those are manifestations of a brand. Those are part of your brand, but your brand is not, that it's not your brand. The brand is you. Your brand is you. That's all it is. It's how people perceive you, right? A brand is who you are, what you do, and how well you do it, but it's how well you do it on an authentic tone, right?
That's a cool thought. You know me and the people that I've worked with, that, or if you don't know me, I'm driven by growth and success. Like I just gobble as much into my brain, podcasts, books, anything surrounding those ideas around growth or mindset. I absorb it. Well, when I started down this path where I kind of allowed myself to be the brand that I truly am, it just happened with real estate agents that these conversations move towards success. Hey, I would hear a podcast or read a book, and I'd say to the real estate agent, hey, have you ever thought about this? And I would start to get responses on, I have, that's something, later on they'd say, that's something that really impacted me when you said that. Right. And you start to get, wow, I can put myself out there a little bit in what I'm excited about and what brings value to me. And that idea around success and growth, it started to be something people would equate to my brand, to me. So that's obviously not a bad thing to have attached to you.
Right.
Those kind of ideas.
And Josh, it's because you were authentic.
Right.
That's it. Like you see so many people out there that are not authentic, that are they're portraying somebody else. They're putting a mask on every single time they walk out the door, not being true to themselves, which means they're not being true to their referral partners and their clients. Like that's not a true brand. That's not being honest with yourself. That's not being authentic to your community and what you represent. Right? So authenticity is key in developing your brand. Now, when I talk about manifestations of a brand either, I'm not saying that those aren't important. Matter of fact, at the end of this webinar, I'm going to give away 8 tools, resources, and apps that you can use today that we highly recommend that we use as Mortgage Machine that enhance, right, or that are manifestations of the Mortgage Machine brand.
When you say manifest, what exactly do you mean? Different ways to
enhance our brand, right?
Gotcha.
Tools, resources. So how we design, how we blog, how we shoot video, right? The tools, resources we use to help our brand grow and showcase our brand. Those are really important.
Because you could even go as granular as, I know you're big on just the look at your business card.
Yeah, absolutely. So those little things, and you should check out our latest blog, the 10 little ways to make a big impact on your business. There's little things that you do, these little things that make a huge impact on you, which is your brand, right? So at the end of the webinar, we're going to give away some really cool tools, resources, and secrets that we use for Mortgage Machine too. All right, so authenticity is key when developing and showcasing your brand, right? And I got a really cool example. I love Patagonia. And I didn't even know this about the brand until about 2 years ago. But so for instance, this whole holiday season, like every single other brand out there is promoting like 70% off, like Christmas special, like holiday special, whatever the case may be. Patagonia will not do that. And the reason why is because they build relationships with their customers, like super strong relationships with their customers, more so than anybody else. They tell the stories of their clothes and the people who wear them. And the really cool part, they have a worn wear program. And this worn wear program is a program that they use to educate people on how to fix their existing Patagonia clothing. So instead of touting their newest line of clothing, they're telling you how to fix it. That's how you build relationships with your customers. Like, you're not saying like, go spend more money, go spend more money. They're saying, here's the tools and resources how to fix the clothes that you bought from us, because we embrace and love them so much. You should too. Hold on to them as long as you can. I mean, they know their customer base. They know their buyer persona. They're active, outdoorsy type people, so they know they're going to get scratched up and ripped up. So they're saying, here's our program. Here's how you fix it. Their Worn Wear program that they push out, they go to outdoor festivals, events with their like giant tribe of people, and they have a van. It's called the Worn Wear program van, and you take your Patagonia clothing and they patch it up for you. They also have within the program, you can sell your existing Patagonia clothing back to Patagonia for in-store credit to buy other clothing.
Wow.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And they've built this amazing tribe of followers around the Patagonia brand, because now people just trust it. Like, there's stories out there. It's inside their culture. It's inside their community. Like, they live and breathe their culture and what they represent. And that is what they represent as their brand. So they have this tribe of followers who just embrace what Patagonia does. It's really cool.
Making me want to buy.
Yeah, I love Patagonia. So the story of Patagonia, guys, is just a prime example of a cool brand developing their tribe and being honest with themselves inside and out, and that's how they're getting a following. They're being true to themselves. They're not hiding anything. They're being honest and authentic all the way out. It's really cool. All right, so when I talk about that, we talk about great brands, what they do. Great brands tell their story. They're not afraid to tell their own story. Great brands tell other people's story. Like Patagonia tells other people's story and the cool things about them. They highlight them. Who are the people that wear our clothes, right? What do they look like? What do they do? What do they do day in, day out? It's the same thing with your business as a loan officer. You can tell other people's story and the success that you have working with them. Right? But great brands showcase their beliefs and what they really stand for. It's okay to be transparent in a business world. You don't have to be fake. You don't have to jump out and stand behind the curtains and say, like, here's my business cards. I'm not going to show you who I really am, because that's not what building business relationships is about. They're honest and sincere. They're not afraid. And the other thing about great brands is that they know their audience. Yeah. Again, like Patagonia, they know their audience. Loan officers, they know good loan officers with great brands know their audience. They know who they're working for. They're not afraid to speak out and speak who they are. They're not afraid to be transparent and showcase them and share their own beliefs and tell their story.
You know, the word that comes to mind when I see the different ways that you have great brands is vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was something for me. It was tough for me because you're putting yourself out there, right?
Right.
I mean, you could get pushed away.
Right.
You could easily be, made fun of or whatever anxiety or honestly BS that you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
So that's a huge step.
Yeah.
That's a huge step for you first to know who you are, where you want to go and where you want to take the brand. And then at that point, putting yourself out there for people to, like you or not.
Right.
The thing I always say too, I could go into our cafeteria right now and I could scream to the entire office, I got donuts. And 10 people would come, and 8 of them would be like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome, donuts."
Yeah.
2 people are gonna go, "Donuts?"
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you bring in cupcakes? I
Right.
mean, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
Always gonna happen.
So they're not gonna like you anyway.
Right.
So I'm not focused on the 2. I'm focused on the 8, or sometimes I'm focused on the it's more the 8
Yeah.
to get the 2. So I think it's where you're putting your focus is that you're gonna get a lot of no's or people that are like, what's this guy doing? But you get 2 or 3. Let's focus on them, and then let's figure out how to grow that.
And imagine the people who know you, right?
Yeah.
And like, Josh always brings in the best donuts because he's like a donut connoisseur.
Right.
So then they're going to be like really excited the next time you bring in donuts because you're showcasing that like you're a donut connoisseur.
Right.
He's going to bring in some really good donuts from really good spots.
That's
right?
good.
All right. So remember what you stand for. That's all it is, guys. Remember what you stand for. Don't be afraid to be transparent about who you are as an individual, as a loan officer in this business. It's cutthroat. It's competitive. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to stand out, you've got to be honest with yourself. All right? Okay. So part of being honest with ourselves and part of being stepping aside and showcasing who we are is the content. Brand is the content that we push out, what we talk about, what we say, what we post, what we talk about in videos, what we talk about on our website, how we present ourselves in our community. Branding is the content. Now, if you don't say anything and you don't talk about anything, then you don't have a brand, right? So branding is the content. Your brand is largely defined by the content you curate, create, and publish. So right now I want to get into some examples on how you can start creating some really positive, cool content that's going to enhance your brand online, because we live in a digital space, right? Like our space is our first handshake is a digital handshake, right? So we want to make sure that the content that we're pushing out is in line with the brand that we want to project.
I think the thing that is so special about the Mortgage Machine is we were developing this over the last few years. The one thing we said to each other was, we're going to bring value. Like, value. If we stop bringing value to you, we want you to tell us, but also too, it doesn't make sense for even them to tune in to us. So when you engage with us, we want to constantly give you things, even if you're not working with us at the time, to help you in your line of business. So this is the part that I get really excited about when you go from here. So
all right, so let's dive in. So first one is, I love this acronym GIVE. And think about your content like this. GIVE, right? GIVE. Great content is for a G. It's defined by giving your audience useful, relevant, and thought-provoking information every single day. I is for influence. Your content needs to demonstrate your leadership and professionalism within the community, right? You want to influence your tribe, your people, your viewers every day. V is for value, expressed by your audience's willingness to appreciate and trust your information. Bring them value when you're posting online. Bring them value when you write, what you say, what you do. And of course, make it economic, right? Make it easy to understand, easy to digest. When we look at content and there's, it's a paragraph long or on Facebook or a 5-page blog post or a 9-minute video, we get lost. Like we want to make our content economical so it's easily digestible.
I think with this too, the first thing I think about, this is all unbelievable information. When you're talking about doing this and giving this kind of information out, I think the number one thing that I'm thinking through is you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're talking about this, the one form that we like to use, and you're seeing it now, is video. It's such an awesome way for people to see maybe how you look, how you talk, how you act, how you think, and it makes it so much easier to connect with people once they see a video of you compared to an email or a text or a phone call. It's just way different. So the example that I have in my life is I had to do this and to reach more people, I had to get better at doing videos. And I'm telling you right now, Jason he was in the infancy of my video. I sucked. I mean, like I would I would literally be in a room before that. I wouldn't let Jason do it. I was by myself and I would shoot it 20, 30, 40 times and just do it over. I messed up. But I said to myself, it's reps. I'm going to get better. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get better as I go. It wasn't like Gary Vee and these guys we see on Instagram. They weren't the best the first time you hear them talk. They just kept doing it. And over time, I'm not to where I need to be yet, but I'm way better. I promise you that. So sometimes you gotta lean in. The reason why I'm still doing videos and I'm getting better at it is because I'm just showing up and I'm doing it. Other people do videos, a couple of them, and they're like, this isn't good. Or someone looks at it and goes, that's dumb. That's silly. Why are you doing that? And most of the time, they're projecting onto you. They don't want you to do it, and then maybe it'll be against them. So it's one of those things when he's giving you this information, you have to also too in your mind say, I'm going to commit to doing this for a period of time and see it through. Because I promise you, the first video compared to the 60th, it's going to be different. So that was a big hurdle for me.
You've gotten a lot better. I will say that. Yeah.
Making it easy. Either that or
But it's repetitions, man.
Yeah, I hope.
Right. All right. So your content now always needs to have purpose, right?
You saying I was bad in the beginning?
No.
Okay.
You're entertaining.
I wasn't good. I'm just.
How about that?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So we're going to talk about. Excuse me. We're going to talk about content purpose, right? When we are pushing out content for our brand, it always has to be purposeful. And what I mean by that, we got to have language around it. So we need to make it personal, transparent, relevant, and anticipated. By personal, I mean you. It's about you. Like, it's not about anything else. You need to be showcasing your personality, right? By transparent, I mean give them a backstage pass. It's okay to be you, right? Like, drop the curtains, drop the facade, be transparent with yourself on everything that you do.
Yeah.
Relevant. Like, if you hate skiing, don't post stuff about skiing. If you don't know anything about buying a house, don't post stuff about buying. Like, make it relevant. Like, you know, you're a loan officer, you know real estate really well. What are your hobbies? What are you into?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on in your community? If you live in Columbus, Ohio, don't post about stuff that's happening in Los Angeles, California. Like, it's all about the relevancy of what you post.
You know what was cool is we had someone that has been with us for about 2.5 years now, and Mitch.
Yeah.
And he took that advice, and he has a passion around mentally handicapped.
Yeah.
And he has a cousin that has been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So he posted a story about a Cincinnati Reds bat boy that had a similar diagnosis as his cousin to one of his sites, and then told the story about his cousin and how passionate he was. And he did it because that's who he was. But it's been amazing the response of real estate agents and referral partners that have a similar situation in their family and their friends, that they've shared that content with them. And he's got in meetings with these people because he kind of dropped the curtain and allowed himself to be out there. So I think that is a great example of doing that. And I remember him before he did. He was a little bit uncomfortable about kind of putting himself out there in that way.
Yeah.
But it's allowed him to connect with a lot of people that are passionate about that as well.
That's awesome. And actually, I've got another story I'm going to talk about Mitch here in a little bit, because he just does a really good job of getting the backstage pass view of like who he really is.
Yeah.
Which, again, at the end of the day, when we talk about who we are as individuals, we build trust.
Yeah.
That's how we build relationships.
Yeah.
Right. So the last thing about being personal with your content is make it anticipated. And what I mean by that is we got to be consistent, right? Like, if we're not consistent about what we do and what we say and the content we push out around our brand, like if we just do it like once every other month, or on a Mondays one week and then the next week it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, like there needs to be anticipation around what we can expect from you.
Yeah.
To start building that trust and consistency. So make sure, guys, content purpose, personal, transparent, relevant, and anticipated. All right. Now your content goal, and this is where we get really kind of diving into expressing who we are and expressing our brand. Your content goal is 4 scenarios. That's it. Education, entertain, inspire, and engage. That's it. Your content goal is 4 categories: educate, entertain, inspire, and engage. Let me give some examples around that. If my goal of my content is to educate, I would create content of example of 95% of first-time home buyers make these 5 mistakes when buying a home, right? That's an example of an education. Entertain category, right? Top 10 places to ski in Ohio that you've never heard of. That would be an entertainment content goal. If my goal is to inspire, I will push out my favorite quote. This quote changed my life, and it will change yours too. That's an example of inspire. And engage. I love engagement style posts because you can get a lot of activity, especially on social media.
Yeah.
Ask a question, and the simpler, the better. How many states have you lived in? Post that. Post that right now. Anybody who's on it, post that. How many states have you lived in? Watch how many people will comment on this post, and just keep it going. And now you're starting conversations.
Yeah.
Right? So your content goal, 4 categories: educate, entertain, inspire, and engage.
I think sometimes we overcomplicate it a little bit.
We do.
Like for that engagement piece, like asking that type of question.
Yeah.
It seems so simplistic that you wouldn't even think about doing that.
Right.
Right. I think it was about a week or so ago. I said, Christmas gifts for the wife ?
Yeah.
And like I think like 86 people commented on different ideas. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And guys got actually buddies and people I didn't even know were tagging themselves in it,
right,
so they could kind of see
the
list. So it is crazy, the simplicity around it. We kind of overthink it at times, don't we?
I do. And you know what's interesting? The most engagement that I've seen are questions posed that don't require too much thinking, right? If I've got to really think about how I'm going to respond, then my chances of responding lower. But if I have an easy response, right? How many states have you lived in? Or a cool Christmas gift?
Yeah.
Or favorite season of the year? Like those types of questions where I can immediately know the response, I'm going to answer, right?
That makes sense.
All right, so you've got your content goal. I want to talk about your content types for a second. And this is important that we start looking at your content goals and then with your content types. And then we're going to show you how to kind of map this out and create a publishing plan for your business. So your content types, again, 4 categories: text, image, video, link. That's it. 4 categories: text, image, video, link. Text is just a text. Write it out. Image is an image. Video is a video, and a link is a link to an outside web page, right? So those are your content types you need to think about when looking at your content brand. The next is your content mediums. Again, where are we pushing this out? This is very simple. 3 categories: social media, email, and your website or blog. Social media, email, your website or blog. As loan officers, we have to think that where do our referral partners play the most?
Yeah.
And these are the spaces that they play in. They play on Facebook, and we always say this, Facebook is the internet, because every realtor and referral partner is on Facebook. The reason why is because all of their clients are on Facebook, right? And Instagram, right? They're all on there. So all of our referral partners are on social media. We need to be there. We need to be spending our web time, majority of the time, need to be where our referral partners are.
It's funny on the social media front. We have a lot of real estate agents that have been in the industry for 30, 40 years that have been like the top agents.
Yeah.
And you see these younger, less experienced real estate agents that have embraced social, that are gaining audiences so much faster because the old school real estate agent is still on the grocery cart,
right?
And they're still in the newspaper, or they're still like the older way of doing things.
Right.
And nothing against that, if that's your way of doing it, but you see that they're catching these younger, less experienced real estate agents are catching these realtors that have been in business for a very long time because of their audience, how quickly it's growing on social.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with, I mean, what we teach in Mortgage Machine.
Yeah.
We push social media to everybody who works in Mortgage Machine, and you can see that. They're active on social media. Their followers, their engagement, their new relationships are because of social media. It's because they're acting on social media. They're being present in social media. So social is a huge one. The next one's email. Email's huge. We all play an email. As business people, as loan officers, with our referral partners, they're in email. We need to focus our time in email. And the last one is our website, guys. That's where we host our content. All right. So when we look at this equation, we get the brand content equation. Content goal plus content type plus content medium equals X, right? This is the equation when you look at when we talk about our brand content. Content goal plus content type plus content medium equals X. Now let's look at some examples of this and how these kind of equations play out. So content goal, here's an example from Mitchell that you were talking about earlier. Content goal is to educate, right? Content type is a link post. And my content medium is Facebook. And he did a really cool post here that, again, provides the transparency piece we're talking about, and showcasing who Mitchell is, but by also sharing content that's relevant to him, not about his business. It has nothing to do with Mitchell being a loan officer. It has to do about Mitchell being a dad, about who he is. And he also keeps it anticipated by not giving away the secrets of what was in this link, but providing anticipation in his post by saying, number 2 on this list is my favorite, and I need to work on number 5. Then he opens it up and says, being a new dad, I'm always trying to improve and show my daughter how much I love her and appreciate her, and he hashtags Team Dad. Like, that shows his audience that, man, I don't know Mitchell's a dad, or Mitchell's a great dad.
Yeah.
Or, it's educational, but it's also dropping the curtains.
Absolutely.
So there's an example of an educational, right? What's my goal is to educate. I'm pushing out a link post, and it's going to be on Facebook.
If your game plan is to sell yourself on loan programs, rates, or communication, closing on time, I'm just going to tell you right now, if that's your game, if that's what you're doing, that's what everybody else is saying.
Yeah.
Every real estate agent that sits with you, and if that's your go-to, they're looking at you and going, this person although they're nice, is like everybody else.
And I want to go back to that slide real quick because Mitchell told me once he posted that, he had 5 realtors message him and tell him how much they loved that article and which ones they needed to work on. And he started conversations with 5 realtors that he hadn't talked to in a while.
Yeah.
Right? So again, building the trust. Okay, so here's one from Lee Brown. She's a realtor out in North Carolina, and I highly suggest you follow Lee. She's a national speaker. She's extremely influential. She's very entertaining, but she's extremely smart, and she talks about who she is. And this is her content goal is to entertain. Her content type was video, and her content medium was Facebook again. And I can't play the video on this broadcast, but check it out. I put her link to her Facebook page, but she basically talks about she's going to do a video inside the store about promoting the business, but because there was alcohol in the store, they weren't allowed to shoot it. But she was talking about how funny it was because she's standing outside on the outside of the store, but there's windows with all the alcohol sitting right there. So she said it's kind of funny. So she did this whole piece on she still highlighted the business, but she kind of gave this entertaining twist, but also showcased who she is. Like she's this kind of quirky, fun, outspoken woman that, again, it garnered like 150 likes, engagement, posts, whatever the case may be, right? Here's another one. One of our clients we work with, it's Onium. It's a consumer direct channel, and on their Instagram post, they're kind of going after educated young type consumers, right? So they wanted to inspire. Where's their goal? Image was their content type, and Instagram was their medium. And so they do a Throwback Thursday highlighting something that's inspirational within real estate every Thursday. So here's one with Frank Lloyd Wright. He's an extremely well-known architect that did some just phenomenal architecture back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. And they do this a lot. They do this every week, a Throwback Thursday of somebody who's inspirational in real estate to try to connect with their audience, their persona, and kind of speak with them in a real language instead of saying, like, look, we're here, like, look at us, right? So they're starting conversations and showcasing their brand identity around the persona of their customer. Here's another one that I really like and a big influencer in our business. His name's Sean Carpenter. He's out of Columbus.
Sean's awesome.
Sean's a great guy.
He's awesome.
Yeah. So he does a lot of text-based engagement and entertainment within his social media, within his blog, and I've got a couple things about Sean I want to go over, but his content goal was to entertain. His content type was text, and his medium was Facebook. He said, free advice. Unless you really like talking to strangers, do not go to Target wearing khakis and a red shirt. Like, that was it. That's what he posted on Facebook, and it garnered over 220 likes. I got a bunch of people just starting the conversation, people sharing it. Again, dropping the curtains, getting the backstage pass of being Sean, just being a humorous individual. And
he's a great example of everything you're talking about.
He is, yeah. And he's kind of embraced everything about creating an individual brand. So another person to follow, guys, is Sean Carpenter on social media. Here's another one from Sean. His goal was to engage, purpose text, and his medium was Facebook. He says, the only problem with rivalry leagues, talking about football, is it takes so long to get here. And he goes, what's your can't miss game today, right? And so he wants to start conversations. He wants to start conversations and keep them going. So it's pretty cool. All right, here's another one. This is one from actually one of our loan officers that we work with. Her goal was to educate and entertain. Her medium was email.
Yeah.
So email, like I said, is so huge when it comes down to your business. You can do a lot of engagement with email. And so every week she switches it up. And this week she talked about this pie recipe.
Yeah.
And she told me afterwards, I saw this come through my email, and I was like, man, this pie recipe. She was like, Jason, you wouldn't believe this. I had like 15 realtors email me back that said they're making this pie. And that's the cool part, is that, like, she's giving them value.
Yeah.
And now when they're making that pie, they're spending 3 hours making this pie. They're thinking about Lisa's recipe.
Yeah.
You know, like, how powerful is that?
The cool thing about it is I know the person, they're passionate about this recipe.
About the pie. Yeah. So that was another cool one. Another one, St. Lisa, again, she did a really cool post to inspire. And her content goal was to inspire. It was an image, and then again, it was through her email chain. She's really big into the emails that she sends out. but her grandfather was served in World War II,
Yeah.
and she got asked to fold the vet flag on Veterans Day, and she was super proud of this moment. She wanted to share it with her tribe, and really, again, just kind of drop the curtains and talk about who she is. And again, at the end of the day, Josh, the purpose of this is not to just push out content.
Yeah.
It's about building relationships and connections and trust.
Right.
Right. So
It's that, when you're flipping through Facebook or, Instagram, you got your thumb going. It's really what makes you stop.
yeah,
I always think about that as I'm looking at stuff. What makes me stop? And it's this kind of stuff that, you can just throw stuff out there or stuff that everybody else is doing. This is completely different.
Yeah.
Putting yourself out.
So here's what we're talking about Sean Carpenter a little bit. Now, he's got a really cool blog that I want all you guys to check out. It's called Carp's Corner. But every Monday he blogs. So when we talk about the anticipation piece, he's consistent with it every single week. Every Monday he's blogging. And this blog piece, and his latest blog piece, was his goal was to inspire. And he changes that up. It's going to be educate, entertain, inspire every single week. This week was inspire. It was a text-based. And his medium was his blog or his website. And he talked about what we talk about a lot too, Josh, is during this holiday season, a lot of us slow down, right? When everybody else is slowing down. But those who want to take a step forward and start taking a few steps ahead of competition, this is our moment. This is our fourth quarter. This is the final seconds. The game's tied. Like, you're going to give up, or you're going to give everything you've got to push into the last few days of the year and make it count.
Are we okay on time?
Yeah.
So something I want to talk to you about. I have a family member in the business that is has been a mentor to me, and something that he always told me, although his advice is always strong and his ability to inspire me is awesome. He did tell me something that he was told, and he let it settle inside of him, and this was this: you make your money, you earn your business, you build your relationships for 8 months of the year. There's about 3 months during the time we're in right now that the market slows down. It's the reality of the situation. So young me would work my tail off for 8 months, and I would subconsciously take my foot off the gas during those months.
Yeah.
Because I respected the person so much that told me that. I would just say, well, they're saying it's slow, so it's slow.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I've told the person this, I want to kick them in the shins. Like, I hate that limited belief was passed through my head, and I took it on as being actual. And when I flipped it to the next year after that, I go, this year, I'm going to do double the activity. I'm going to meet with double the agents. I'm going to do more business. That following year, the slow months, those 3 months that we're talking about there, were my best 3 months of the year.
Yeah.
It's all what we tell ourselves.
It is.
And that's the one of the thing I think is the biggest thing for us in our accountability and our coaching is we weed through the BS.
Right.
That's not a reality.
Right.
That's something that people say.
Yep.
And the cool part about it is for you, let people say it. Yeah, it's cold. It's crazy, but market's awesome. Just in your head, I would turn it up. I would absolutely, in December, there's what? Before Christmas, there's like 4 or 5 more days.
Yeah.
I would just, no one's doing anything right now.
No one.
They're shopping.
Yep.
I would
Done.
just, for the
Walk out.
next 4 days, I would be on fire with activities that we coach.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a really good story. And again, like you said, I mean, I think the ones who are going to, I hate this term, but the ones that are going to be game changers are the ones that are really turning it up during the time when they see the opportunities
it's an
where
opportunity.
no one, they see it, right?
Yeah.
They take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. So, and again, like, I just want to talk about, a lot of you have reached out and say, well, how do I blog? Where do I get started? I just want to mention this real quick because I think blogging is a very important tool. Aside from, in ways to build your brand. A lot of people are like, I don't know where to start. Sometimes you're the company that you're with, they don't offer blogging opportunities. So if they don't offer it, first of all, check with your, with your company to see if you have blogging opportunities. If you don't, we recommend Typepad.com, WordPress, Blogger, and Bluehost. These are really all simple solutions to start blogging. It literally takes about 5 minutes and you can start blogging and having your own URL on these platforms. So also, guys, if you have questions, you can always reach out to us. We've got some really cool tools on our internally for blogging. So check out Typepad, WordPress, Blogger, and Bluehost for more information on how to get blogging and start creating some content like Sean Carpenter. I want to talk about, I know you talked about video a little bit.
Yeah.
And, again, video as an outlet for showcasing your story. There's some really cool insight around video that, I hope everyone starts using video to start building their brand, because video builds trust faster than any other content medium. It's more human, and it's more sincere. You come off more human and more sincere, right? If I was just writing this out, you wouldn't see my emotions in my eyes and my face and our face and the conviction that we share, right? We connect emotionally a lot easier on video. And again, your competitors, our loan officers, they're not using video. They're not using it, right? So why not go the other way? When everybody zigs, you want to zag, right? So when we talk about video, I want to give out some cool, just quick tools and resources you can do to start making some good video for your business. So when we talk about video equipment, for your camera, your smartphone, just use your smartphone to film. You don't need to go out and buy a DSLR camera or a Studio Pro camera. Your smartphone today is equipped with all the resources you need to be shooting awesome video. There's an app called Filmic Pro, and Filmic Pro helps you. It's basically just has more additional features within the camera setting itself to give you some more detail when you are shooting on your camera. For your audio, again, use your smartphone. You can add smartphone plugins. Rode, R-O-D-E, makes a really cool smartphone mic plugin that you can get on Amazon. And also there's one called the Samaronic. So it's Saramonic. That is, both of those are on Amazon. They're just plugins that go directly to your phone. Just enhance your audio a little bit. For a tripod, this would be a smartphone tripod. Again, you can get on Amazon. It's called the Diamondo or the Ravelli. Both of these are like between $10 and $20. Software, if you're looking at editing the clips and cutting them down, I know that seems obtruse and intense, but it's really not. With these cool apps, editing is a breeze. Adobe Clip, OverVideo, Filmora, and Typedo. These are all software apps that you can use today that you can easily start editing up your videos and making them look pretty cool. And as far as lights, guys, I tried the Basicest Selfie Ring. It's Basicest. You can get those on Amazon for $8. Or if you're looking at more fluorescent lights to light you up and make you look good, you can also go on Amazon. It's called the Limo Studio Fluorescent Light Package. I think it's like $40. So as far as video equipment, I know that's kind of like a big hinder, and people are like, oh, I don't know what to do or how to shoot it. Just follow these directions and start shooting video. You're gonna love it.
I'm telling you, worst case, that all makes it look good. When we started, it was our phone.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. There's nothing else.
Just use the phone.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, when we start talking about our content, what we're pushing out, we need an editorial plan. And just to give you guys some ideas of what topics you can bring to the table, I know I talked about a little bit when we talked about the content types, but here's a few ways you can start creating brand editorial plans around your content ideas. So ID questions prospects ask, right? What kind of content am I going to push out? ID the questions prospect, what are they Googling? So Google like houses for sale, right? And then look at all of the forums and chat forums that show up in that area, in your area, like Quora and all these other places. Like then see the questions that consumers are really asking. Then take those questions and make them into stories and content within your blog, within your social media, within your Instagram, right? Within your email, right? So like 5 tips to get pre-approved, and like as a first-time home buyer, right? Like break down the myths, like see what people are really asking.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea. Yeah.
Another one is swipe ideas. There's nothing wrong with that. See what other people are writing about. Go to Zillow, go to House Logic, go to Realtor Magazine. Another cool tool is BuzzSumo. You can actually type in any subject on BuzzSumo and it'll curate the top trending articles on that topic that you typed in. So if I type in realtor or if I type in mortgage loans, it's going to show me the top trending articles and content pieces around that subject. Then I can look and see what other people are writing about and what's gaining the most attention. And now I can turn that into my own content.
That's a great website.
Yeah,
that's
I love
amazing.
BuzzSumo. Yeah. Monitor your market, guys. I mean, your local association is pushing out all of the news, right? And within the housing market, what's happening just locally in your community. This is great. This is great pieces for editorial. See what's happening locally. What's happening in your market. People want to know. If it's coming from you, you look like the ambassador of content, and they start building trust around you. All right. Another one, guys, is just extend ideas. So start with something and then mind map it out, right? If I start with mortgage loans, and then I can mind map that out into interest rates, inventory, future building, like in my area, right? Like I can mind, and some cool extender ideas too. I like Coggle and MindNode.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are really cool, just easy ways that you can kind of mind map out ideas for your brainstorming editorial content. Use your like everybody follows a business or a life coach on Instagram or Facebook or blog, whatever. See what they're writing about. Like they obviously come up with some really cool stuff. Like Sean Carpenter comes up with some really cool stuff that you could regurgitate or condense and talk about, or give a real life scenario of how maybe something that he talked about affected your life. And now you have content. Now people are starting to engage with what you're saying about your own brand.
Yeah, that is this is great, because I think a lot of the times when we talk to people, when they start and we start to engage them in this kind of thought, they're always like, what do I
do?
What do I write out
about?
there?
Yeah,
that's great.
And I always say this, guys, is people are like, well, people don't want to read my stuff. But what about when you go on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, you're scrolling, you're reading all those people's stuff that is more boring than your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, at least now you have an editorial plan, you have a conscious idea of what you're putting out. They're just putting out like ridiculous things, and you're still reading it and looking at it.
Yeah.
So imagine what it's like if you're putting out purposeful content that's going to build around your brand, how impactful that's going to be.
I think it's you looking yourself in the mirror. Your story is impactful.
Yeah.
You can help a lot of people with the stuff you're putting out there, or also too just bringing more value to their lives. So I think it's one of those things too. You got to get over the fact that you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, that's it. Another one, guys, is just ask your audience, ask your sphere of influence, ask your tribe online, send an email out. What do you want to learn about? What do you want to hear about? Get some topics that way. And the last one is your life, is give the backstage pass to your life.
Yeah.
That's what's going to build the trust. Who are you? What's happening day to day? Not within your office, not within your business professional but what's happening in your life, right? I've seen some of the most successful loan officers, because they just talk about themselves. They showcase themselves like Mitchell does. There's a loan officer who's a mom of 3, and she showcases her success of how she came from nothing to a successful mom of 3 with a loan officer and building her own business. And she showcases her kids and her life every single day. And people like her because they can connect with her. There's a real emotional connection there.
You know, there's a video that she did that she shot to me to kind of look at and review. And she goes, I know I'm going to redo it because, you know, my little one kind of went through the back of the camera, and she kind of looked at him and laughed and, you know, went back at it. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like it was so much more relatable than the one she sent me where she was just stiff and almost like reading it off a prompter.
Yeah.
It was just, it made me, you know, honestly, more engaged into the video and look up. Yeah. So I think you're right. I think that is huge.
Yeah, that's a really good example. All right, so 7 musts to make your content great, guys. Number 1, make it trustworthy, right? If you're going to be citing different content, right, source out where you're getting the content.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, if we're going to be stating facts, source where you got the content. Make it trustworthy. Make it easy to read, easy to digest. Don't be writing a novel and a Facebook post or a 9-minute video. Easy content that's digestible. Make it original. Make it who you are. Make it around you. Make it curious, right? Like, why are they going to click on this? Why are they going to watch this further, right? Like, why are they going to engage with you? What kind of curiosity can you sprout from your content? Make it purposeful, right? Why are you doing this? What's the purpose? Is it to drive engagement? That's, again, the content purpose. What are we trying to drive in the content that we're pushing out that's going to help our brand? Another one is relevancy. What is relevant? Make it relevant. If you're not into, you know, if you're not into motorcycles, don't post about motorcycles, right? Like, make it relevant to around your life. And of course, make it emotional. Tug at the heartstrings a little bit. Like we said about the story about the little kid running around the back, like that's okay to have. Like
Yeah.
it's a little bit emotional. Like there's an
Yeah.
emotional sense. Like
Yeah.
like the real person got emotional and showed
Yeah.
like a little bit of vulnerability,
Right.
and that's okay. People appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what's all the point of this? What's the point of doing all of this? Like doing these activities to create brand? It's to establish authority, right? It's to connect with your audience, right? It's to brand your voice. Build a brand voice. So when people think about you, when they think about the lighthouse of you or mortgage lending, they think about you,
Yeah.
right? And because the purpose of this is to win more business, guys. That's it. That's why we're here. That's the purpose of Mortgage Machine, is to coach you into a place where you're the most successful individual you can possibly be, right? So when you think about that, you want your audience to think of you like a lighthouse. So they're always thinking about you all the time. When they think about mortgage lending, when they think about referral, how can you be the lighthouse in their life all of the time, guys? All of the time. So last point, this is the last slide, guys. We only have a few minutes left, so I wanted to get into this last slide. Best branding apps, tools, and resources that you could be using today that we use for our business. I'm going to go through the list. First one is Canva, canva.com, canva.com. This is a great resource for designing blog posts, Facebook posts, flyers, articles, anything you could possibly imagine. They've got just a plethora, a library of tools that you can use today to design the best brand that you could possibly be. So they also have an app for it too. So look out canva.com and download the Canva app design. Another one is, when we talk about blogging, WordPress. There's also a blog for that. It's called the WordPress app. Again, very easy to start blogging there, guys. Hootsuite, it's a social media management tool. Excuse me. Hootsuite, you can kind of schedule out your posts for the week.
That makes it easy.
It does. It really kind of streamlines your activities, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about this in the machine of like how we can streamline activities. Hootsuite is one of those tools that we use that's just going to help you. That's just help you streamline your activity. And again, create that omnipresence that we talk about a lot. Another one is Camera Plus. So when you're taking images on your phone, you're at an event, you're taking pictures, you're posting on your social pages, you're posting on your blog, you're posting in your email. Camera Plus enhances your image quality. You can sharpen images, you can enhance the saturation. A lot of cool little camera tips or editing tips that you can use with Camera Plus. I think it's $1. You can download it for. Filmora or Adobe Clip for editing your video, guys. Again, very simple to do. Download these apps. They are free, and you will love them, and you'll get into video really quickly and just trimming them down. MailChimp, we talk about this one a lot.
Yeah.
We love MailChimp and Mortgage Machine. It's such an easy email CRM that you can use to be shooting out emails to your database, your referral partners every week. I mean, we use it internally. We use it externally. MailChimp is email life.
Until I called it for maybe 6-7 months. Chimp mail.
Chip mail, yeah, you call it chip mail for a long
Every time.
And everyone's like, "Where is this chip mail?" And I have to read
You were so
MailChimp.
you were so disgusted with.
MailChimp. Get
Okay.
MailChimp, guys. If you're not using MailChimp, get it. We love it. The Noun Project is animated icons that you can use for all of your content. It's really cool. It's you can download these free icons for, again, all of your social media activity, push it into Canva, design really cool flyers for your business. For instance, like if I wanted an image of somebody handshaking or a high five or a camera, like all of the icons I just used in this presentation are from the Noun Project. So check out the Noun Project. Unsplash, this is free, awesome images like of photographers, that just unbelievable photographers that will just make the most inspiring images that you can use in your promotional activities, guys. Check out Unsplash. They're free, high-end, beautiful photography that you can use today and download today. It's not going to cost you a dime. Video BombBomb, again, we talk about Video BombBomb a lot in Mortgage Machine. Video BombBomb is video email. It's incredibly effective. Like we talked about, why the efficiencies of videos, well, they take it into email form where it's just conversation conversion is what we like to call it, because it's so effective.
We don't have time to talk about this,
Yeah.
but I can't say enough about what Video BombBomb has done for some of our loan officers within the Mortgage Machine.
Yeah.
It's changed the entire game for them.
It has. So guys, check out Video BombBomb, check out our tutorial, check out our interview with them. It's really cool. And the last one is Facebook page. If you don't already have a Facebook page, get a Facebook page and then download the Facebook page app. The Facebook page app will help you manage your business pages or manage your business page on Facebook. You can manage your promotions, your boosts, your paids. And again, we'll go over that in more detail, but we love Facebook page app as well. Guys, that is it. We're out of time. It's 3 o'clock. It's been an hour. If you guys want more information, mortgagemachinecoaching.com. Subscribe to us, guys. We send out these updates every single week. Anything else, Josh? I mean,
the only thing I would say is, when you're thinking about your brand and you're thinking about what you're putting out there, think about what you would like to see. What gets you excited? Again, the 2 people that want the donuts and the 8 people that want the cupcakes, we'll focus on the 2. The 2 become 4 and 6 and 8, and we keep building it. A quick story, and I know we're up against it, but I was in church on Sunday. I'm kind of embarrassed sharing this story, but I was in church, and I was kind of disconnected from the pastor. The story he was telling me was it was a lot of it was biblical, which is good, but it was a lot of just reading from a piece of paper. I was completely disengaged. And I'm just telling you this, and it hit me because I knew we were going to be on this week. All of a sudden, he said, and let me tell you how this affects me and my family and my children. And I didn't do it purposely, but my head went up. And I got back re-engaged. So that story for me, I felt that, the transition from being disengaged to engaged, because he let me in. Now he's going to tell me something about him. How does this affect me? And I think that's what the mortgage machine does. We get people there faster because we have failed forward so many times that we figured it out. And we know how to get people to where they need to be. So that's the exciting piece. So go on top of the branding. I think just be encouraged and put yourself out there and don't make too much of it. Yeah. Get a phone, do it. You'll get better at it as you go. The audience will follow.
Yep, that's awesome. That's a great piece, Josh. All right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. If you don't see us or hear from us, we'll see you next year, but we'll probably see some content from us at least before 2018. So, all right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Happy holidays.